What? What the fuck was that? It's so freaking weird. How do I turn that off so it never talks to me again? Away we go. Every fucking time. Jake, you idiot. When will you learn? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, for those of you looking for pretty cheap speed and World Rally Championship style, whether that be on the dirt, on the street, or on a racetrack, well, here you are. It's pretty unique engine coupled with a rally dominating all-wheel drive system gives this thing a cult-like following and a performance layout that would be copied for almost a quarter century to come. Damn it! You suck, Jake, you suck, you stupid dumbass. The story of the Subaru Impreza WRX begins with, well, its predecessor, the Subaru Legacy, which in 1989 set a long-distance high-speed run record in Arizona, covering 62,000 miles in 447 hours at an average speed of 138 miles an hour. That 220 horsepower and 200 foot-pounds of torque making 2-liter turbo, that's right, the codename EJ20 engine. The EJ20 is what powered that Subaru Legacy into the new record, and it would also be the power plant to power its new coming baby brother, the WRX. Now, WRX stands for World Rally Experimental, and in 1992, when the WRX was introduced in both wagon and sedan variants, codenamed GC8 for the sedan, it was equipped with a 240 horsepower boxer engine. Europe, on the other hand, well, they had to deal with a lousy 210 horsepower. It was more Australian than British, sorry. And us here Americans had to fuck right off because we didn't even get the thing in the first place.
Why? But
in 1994, the WRX got a proper shot of steroids when the hardcore STi version was unleashed. Subaru entered the World Rally Championship with the STi, and a driver who had previously proved his skills behind the wheel of the Subaru Legacy, and who also happens to be one of my personal heroes, Colin McRae. And in that year of 1994, McRae piloted his 555 STi to a second place finish in the Constructors' Championship. And this car just so happens to be number 72 of the 200 STIs built in August of 1994. That's right, at this time, they were only building these bi-monthly. And would you believe that it came with gold alloy wheels from the factory? This is one of the only cars that looks absolutely amazing with gold wheels from the factory. Maybe second to like the Lamborghini Countach. Now under that paper-thin aluminum hood, and what we have to thank for that gritty boxer growl, is that very unique 2-liter 4-cylinder boxer engine, injected with air by a little baby turbocharger, dubbed the EJ20G. The horizontally opposed cylinders in the boxer engine give the motor a low center of gravity down in the engine bay, and the unequal length headers that are on this engine give it that very unique boxer rumble. It produces 250 horsepower and 228 foot-pounds of torque to all four wheels, absolutely crushing the 100 horsepower per liter mark. And all that through a proper 5-speed manual transmission. It makes this thing even more fun to drive. Every freaking time. Oh, you idiot. Now that power is very similar to the STi's STA. I don't remember driving an STA. Very similar to the STi's main rival, the Mitsubishi Evo Lancer 1, a car which I had the opportunity to drive and review just last year. Actually, almost a year ago to the day, which is kind of odd. But I will tell you, this, to me, is more fun to drive. I'm just having a better time. And when you get on the power in this thing, it's delivered just so broadly and so smoothly. It's like this smooth rush of power to all four wheels. You just get this tiny little kick from the turbo. If I didn't tell you this was turbocharged, you'd honestly probably have no idea. I only know that because, well, of course, I'm a trained professional YouTube test driver, of course. Duh. And 250 horsepower nowadays, that people scoff at that. But you gotta remember, this thing weighs just over 2,800 pounds. It's nothing. There's nothing nowadays that weighs that little. Except for maybe like a Yaris or something. And those get like 98 horsepower. And this has 250. And you can only imagine the kind of damage this thing did back in the day when it came out in '94. I mean, 250 horsepower, the Porsche 911 had just over that. Now, it was tough to find a 0 to 60 time on this car. Some resources said 4.5 to 5 seconds. Some other websites said it was much closer to 6. And a car like this, that stat doesn't really matter because it's the experience of driving it and the excitement that it brings you. That's what matters, not the actual time. It feels quick. It's a fast car. That's all you need to know. This STi even has a top speed of just under 150 miles an hour. That's crazy for this little thing. Now, the hardcore STi version differed from the standard WRX through its blueprinted engines, upgraded suspension, as well as upgraded transmission, built a little bit tougher to handle the extra power output. And the interior of this thing, well, it's quintessential 90s. And the seat comfort to me kind of reminds me of the Nissan Skyline, which is surprising because usually these imported JDM cars are not very inviting for large American ogres like myself. But I mean, from today's standards, this thing is incredibly plain Jane. There's literally not anything special to talk about at all, except for it does have an aftermarket Bluetooth touchscreen Kenwood radio, which is a very welcoming upgrade to have in this, even though for some reason, I don't think you'll be listening to that a lot. Jeez, oh, that's what you'll be listening to right there. I do enjoy this interior a little more than the Evo 1. I mean, this is pretty plain Jane, but to me, the Evo was just pretty bland. Besides, that one did have these nice red seats. It was very sharp. The color of the seats, that was sharp. This one doesn't have a racing seat in it, built for someone that's as tall as my shoe and weighs 1/3 of what I do. Severely uncomfortable would have been an understatement. Okay. But that's not the manufacturer's fault. That's just someone's custom racing seat. I was just a little wider than them, that's all. Just a little wider. And the interior of this one, it's actually in immaculate shape for the year and for having 217,000 kilometers on it. That's 135,000 miles for you American folk. Oh boy, this is intoxicating. I'm gonna get in trouble. This thing is just a little rocket ship. Man, oh man, this thing's good. Oh, and some of you might have also seen the Momo steering wheel and said,
"Hey, that Momo steering wheel is not a factory option on the Generation 1 Subaru WRX STi.
You are right. That's not factory. Someone put that in aftermarket. That's one of 2 mods to this otherwise bone stock vehicle. The Momo steering wheel and an aftermarket muffler. And the Kenwood that I mentioned earlier. 3 incredibly tasteful mods that make this thing absolutely qualify to be an insane daily driver. is a blast. Man, I like this thing a lot. Rowing through the gears in this thing is just plain fun. It's just, that's the only way to put it. It's fun. This thing is so quick, but it's not like go to jail quick. I mean, you can row this thing through all of the gears and only be doing like twice the speed limit, which would still put you in jail probably, but you got that awesome boxer engine sound with the unequal length headers, and even though that robs a little bit of power, who cares? It sounds amazing, and that's what matters. It's the experience. This thing is just so engaging to drive. Every little input you do as the driver directly correlates to something going on with the car. No electronic interference. This thing is a great experience to drive. And once again, a massive shout out to my friends over at Northeast Auto Imports for absolutely hooking me up today with this 1994 Subaru WRX STi. I'll include a link down in the description below so you can check out their social media as well as their website, and check out the awesome array of JDM cars and vans and other stuff they have for sale. And in the description, I'll also include links to all the other JDM videos that I filmed that I'm sure you guys are gonna love. I'll catch you guys in the next one. Happy motoring. Not again.